What's going on, everyone? This is Emperor CK, and we're gonna go and continue our Unnerve Me series, the 7th part of characters which came from my favorite animes that had this unnerving of some part of character that I thought could have been a lot more, but then would have changed a lot of the anime. So here we go. Hope you're all excited, anime enthusiasts, because this episode of Unnerve Me is gonna cover the one and only Acnologia. Now, obviously, this is one of my favorite animes out there. You know, it's one that's really easy to get into. It's light, it's funny, and you know, it's much more easier to dive into this kind of untapped potential of anime characters. So, today we're gonna quickly journey into the magical world of fairytail, talking about Acnologia. We're gonna focus our lens on the formidable Dragon King, Acnologia. Our mission: to explore an alternate universe where he wasn't really nerfed to the ground and reimagining his full potential instead of being brought down by the power of friendship. So, the story begins with Acnologia as a peaceful doctor that was transformed by the brutal dragon civil war into an unrivaled dragon slayer. From the start, Acnologia is a figure of terror and power, the black dragon of the apocalypse who ends the dragon era single-handedly. Like, whew, that's amazing. But was his terrifying reign undercut by an abrupt downfall? Yes, absolutely. He could have been a lot more, so let's quickly examine the roots of his transformation and power. If Acnologia hadn't been nerfed, his backstory could have been more expansive. We could have followed his progression from a pacifist doctor to a dragon slayer consumed by rage. Capturing the full impact of his transformation, he wouldn't just be some kind of a monster that we come to know. He'd be a tragic hero driven to the edge, a character with depth and conflict. There would be so much emotions going into it. There'd be raining effect. There would be, the crying effect. He would be howling into the night going why this has happened to his life. And therefore that's why he became who he is, right? And then we'll go to talk about the apex of his power. Moving on to his Dragon Slayer magic, the potential for Acnologia's abilities extends far beyond what we see in the series. As someone who can consume all types of magic, let's talk. He has potential to learn and mimic the spells he consumes, or make it part of his own, just absorb it, right? An ability that could make him virtually invincible, because all the animes right now plunder abilities. Acnologia should be no different. He should be more, considering that, he's a Dragon Slayer. Consider this: Acnologia battling Grateful Buster, the Ice Devil Slayer. Imagine Acnologia not just resisting Grace ice magic, but learning it, adapting for his own use. He can start using ice make himself. And then the same goes for other mages like the Celestial Wizard Lucy, right? Picture Acnologia harnessing celestial magic, summoning celestial spirits to fight alongside him, and pretty much not going to be the pure-hearted ones, but the ones that he summons is going to be enraged, feeling his wrath and corrupted by him, therefore escalating the stakes of each battle and pushing the heroes to the limits, and really surprise them. Right, let's go into even more epic clashes. Right, speaking of those kind of clashes, let's envision some confrontations like a clash with the Lightning Dragon Slayer Laxus. Right, we witness a power exchange that could shift the dynamics of their fight. Acnologia would absorb and adapt into Laxus' lightning magic, use it against him, forcing Laxus to outthink and outmaneuver him instead, rather than trying to overpower his opponent. Like, I will say Laxus is pretty cool and pretty up there in terms of wizards, but then Acnologia should be like up there compared to Laxus, alright? And this is the same thing for Urza. And look, Urza is really awesome. Her re-equipped magic is beautiful, is so much optimal for everyone to be using, minus just her herself. Imagine Acnologia summoning different kind of weapons, armors, re-equipping himself with it for every kind of little situation. Therefore, Urza will only have her resolve, her sheer will and determination that will make the battle to become desperate and unforgettable. But then again, we think, what about Fairytale's main protagonist, Natsu Dragneel? The decisive battle will be nothing short of epicness, right? Fire Dragon Slayer against the Dragon King, a dance of flame and raw power. However, this time, Acnologia wouldn't just resist Natsu's fire, but harness it, eat it, amplify it, making Natsu face the horrifying reflection of his own power, right? We think about Natsu back in the days, it's like, oh, why don't you just eat your own fire? Natsu is disgusted by this idea. He goes, you don't eat your own flames, right? That's something that is being made over and over again. And of course, I'm not sure about the regurgitation they're using it from Acnologia, but then again, that could be something there. Now imagine this unnerved Acnologia, not as a mindless destructive force, but as a strategic adversary with an evolving arsenal of magic and combat experience. this Acnologia wouldn't be an enemy easily defeated by a single guild or even a coalition of guilds. It would require the combined might of all the fairytail members, their allies, each contributing to their unique strength and strategies to overcome this ultimate threat, right? You wouldn't be able to come up with some kind of strategy to be able to take down Acnologia. Everyone will be so desperate to try to put something out there, it's all life-threatening. In this version of Fairy Tail universe, Acnologia will embody the very essence of conflict and growth that the series champions, pushing out beloved characters to develop, evolve, and surpass their limits. Like, that's what Fairy Tail is all about. So, let's go straight to a potential final showdown, right? Had it not been just the pure unification of friendship, what can we do? What can we imagine? Well, as the Dragon King descends upon Magnolia, the guilds of Fairytail, Sabertooth, Blue Pegasus, and pretty much everyone all joining forces, the air is electrified, there's a mixture of like determination, fear, and unity. It's a united front against an unbeatable dread and unbeatable enemy. The odds have never been daunting, and survivability, someone's gonna be kicking the coffin straight up. Right, the battle begins with an opening barrage from the long-range attackers, big slow Sith magic, freeze dark Aputure working tandem, creating a vortex of spirits and runes to disrupt Acnologia's balance and disrupt his magical perception. Acnologia will probably be disrupted here and there, but then he'll be able to adapt, shrug off their attacks with a snarl, or some of them, because he's so weak against him, his dragon natural senses will just be like, okay, no worries, I'm just gonna adapt. This is not even going to affect me. It's like half a second, right? And then, next comes, with Ezra, Gajil, Laxus, Urza, pretty much everyone will do whatever they can. Urza will come into her Flame Empress armor. She will equip, clash with Acnologia, go at the front. Her swords will be going up against the scales, pretty much doing almost nothing. Laxus would keep on rolling with the lightning, pretty much they will be the front tankers. They will do everything they can in order to bring him down to a few notch. Gajil with his Iron Dragon slave form will add to the strength of the onslaught to get that brute force out there. The battlefield rumbles under the combined might of all these formidable fighters. Like, the dust will just be everywhere, and everyone's just like hurling spells all around. And Acnologia will be able to just fend them off. He'll take a few hits, and then he'll just be like, okay, no worries, let me adapt, let me re-equipping, let me fight your magic with your magic, except they're stronger. The strategies that you employ will be what I'm going to employ back to you. The strategists and support fighters will work the magic. Levi will use some script magic and provide some information and coordinate what's the best strategies into this, coordinating the guilds and optimizing their attack plans. Mavis, obviously in her ghost corporal form, will pretty much be going everything, and she will be using her exceptional tactical ingenuity to get the best kind of form, but she even then will still be unable to fully adapt into Acnologia's overall powers, right? Their roles are vital, and I can absolutely say that the wizards can be full of unity out there, but then again, it's very hard to stop Acnologia like that. Lucy will then contact the celestial spirit realm, try to summon the king out there, try to provide some kind of crucial support, try to break out all the celestial spirits, make sure that the summoned ones that has been wreaking havoc against all the wizards will be turned back, absolutely freeing them and making them join in, because that could be an element of healing, of defense, of everything, strategic points out there. And the Spirit King himself will be able to draw a new dynamic, because there's only one Spirit King. You can't really corrupt him. And the Spirit King's colossal power could potentially deal a significant blow to Acnologia, even if it's just momentarily, right? Because that does consume a ton of magic power to summon. Despite these combined efforts, Acnologia will continue to stand strong, absorbing and learning from every magic thrown his way. His resilience and adaptability seems insurmountable, right? That's just the imagination. And then we go to how do we win, right? The flame of hope. The flame to give everyone their spark. That is what Natsu is all about. So let's just say Natsu, he's been watching, he's been gathering, and he's been fighting here and there. He's been knocked out, he's been knocked away, and then he flies out of the screen, flies back into it, and then he says, I'm coming back in, right? So into the Fire Dragon Slayer, brother of Zeref, and so he will do everything he can to unlock his own inherent potential like no other Dragon Slayer has, and we all know and love this. So Natsu, understanding the depth of Acnologia's power, right, knows that you should brute force when cut it instead of charging head first. He adapts a little bit to his strategy, right? Because we all know Natsu is not one to actually know enough strategy, but he's a terrific fighter. His plan is pretty much going to be, using Acnologia's ability to learn and adapt and use the magic against him. So Natsu will probably start with his Fire Dragon King's Roar, a move that Acnologia quickly copies, but this is exactly what Natsu was expecting, using his control over the properties of fire. Natsu modifies his magic energy with his flames after Acnologia absorbs them. This alteration destabilizes Acnologia's magical absorption process, if you will, effectively causing a magical backlash with Acnologia, because what's one way to absorb something in the beginning that you're still really pure about is to corrupt it. So maybe lace the fire with a different type that has poison property onto it, right? And this was just one of those tricks out there that Natsu can be employing with his unique lineage and his magic control. He could definitely pull it off, or he can pretty much have a mixture of it, because there are other flame wizards out there that could assist him in this, right? And then he can do everything else that no one has been able to, and it's just to bring Acnologia to the surprise of the element of attack, and then to bring him to his knees, and give Acnologia a little bit of extra surprise in the element, the shock that everyone really needs. However, Acnologia isn't defeated just yet. He's surprised, he's taking damage, but just as he's about to retaliate, Natsu, driven by his love for his guild and his friends, channel all his magic into a big attack. The Fire Dragon King's Demolition Fist! This attack, charged with all the emotions and determination of Natsu, finally pierces through Acnologia's defenses, ending his, potential reign. And this is just something that, I thought of in a few minutes. But then again, you place in my head, obviously I'm going to spit it out as quick as possible, because, imagination, as vividly as it is, you just want to keep on rolling before it goes and fades into the oblivion. You don't want to be doing that. But, that's just potentially what you can do. And look, Acnologia is a character that I feel that was severely underrepresented in the fairytail series. We were given, just how ferocious he was, just how much things that he could present, and then yet again, the fight scene, which we could have gotten, was like on the Naruto series, on the Dragon Ball, Terra series, and we could have potentially had that. But at the end of the day, I felt like it was really short-lived, and I didn't feel like there was enough for us to go ahead with, and so count me as one that was fairly disappointed with his downfall before anything else. The origin story didn't do him enough justice, and there wasn't enough elements into bringing him down to his ultimate demise. Like, till this day, I think it was really quick to just off him onto the anime, and I was just sort of like sitting at the back going, what just happened? But yeah, that will do for this episode. Let me know if you agree. Let me know how you think about what the potential of Acnologia is supposed to be, and how he would have been able to get this one in. But that's going to be it for this video. Hope you really enjoyed it. Make sure to like, sub, and turn on the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next video. This is Everysick signing off. Peace!